Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Lolly and today I want to start another project. So years ago, I saw that people were starting to make lap books, mostly thanks to Nick the Booksmith doing a series on it. I never did actually watch the series. Sorry, Nick. Love your work though. But then I really haven't heard anything since about lap books. And so I decided I really wanted to make something like a lap book in my own imagination here. What would if I didn't know anything about lap books, what would I do? And so I started going on YouTube and searching lap books. And the only thing I found was about homeschoolers making a project to cover a specific subject. And every one of those lap books was about this big. And I thought, for me, lap book means a book big enough to really hold on your lap. And so this is, I'm calling my series Lapbooks Reimagined because it's all in my head. It's my head where these lap books exist. So without further ado, I want to show you the supplies that I'm using for this. So this is going to be my cover, because I decided I wanted to use fabric on chipboard for my cover. And so what I've done, I will give you the measurements soon, so don't worry about that. But I made mine a little bigger than I needed so that I can heat and bond onto it. And I didn't want the heat and bond going over the edge and getting on my iron or on my ironing board. So you can see how I have that there. It's cool. I'm going to peel this off and do my thing. But let me show you what I'm doing. So these are the downloads I'm going to give you. Now you can make yours in any size you want, but this is the size that I'm making it. I have my project cart, that tray that helps me to keep all my supplies organized. So this obviously is shrunk down because I couldn't get it all on 8.5 by 11. This is actual size, so you have to print it actual size. And the lines just mark where I'm going to be putting magnets. So this is the back, and then I have a spine on either side, and then I have a front flap and a right flap. Now the right spine is 1/4 inch deeper than the left spine to make room for it to cover over. Okay, so here's what I have here based on my pictures. So my back and left front are the same size. Then I have a flap that's going to come over. Oops, this goes here and that goes there. This might even be just a pinch too big. Let's see if we're all on camera, and we are barely. So what I did was I laid these all out, and I gave you the measurements here. These are all 10 inches tall. These are 8 inches wide. This is 1 1/4, 1 1/2, and 2 1/2. So when this closes, this will be the left spine, and that will fold over. This will be the right spine with this flap that comes over like this and magnetizes. Okay, so what I did was I laid it all out like this, and I measured 1/8 of an inch in between each for gaps so that it would allow for them actually to bend. And then when I did that, I also added 1 inch on each side, and top, bottom, and side, so that I could fold over the fabric. So all that together, rounded up, means that I needed fabric that was 12 inches wide by 23.5 inches long. And I should put that here too. If you're using fabric, I should add this to this before I give you the download. So, but again, 12 by 23.5. But I made mine a little extra big. So now what I need to do, now that I've got this on there, I'm going to cut it again to the actual size of 12 by 23.5. And that is done. Now, by the way, the directions are on the package for heat and bond. Basically, it's lay it down flat, medium heat on your iron, no steam, and just heat each section for 2 seconds. It doesn't take much at all. So all we need to do is peel the heat and bond But once we do that, we're going to find that we're going to have extra exposed on the ends before we fold them in. So it helps to have one of those non-stick Teflon oven mats that you can put on your ironing board. And what you'll see is you have this nice, shiny, kind of tacky sort of surface on your fabric. Well, let's come over here and finish it. Now, what I need to do though is I can't take all this to the ironing board this well. So I'm going to lay all these out again, and I'm going to get them measured this time. Now is when I want to make sure I get everything really aligned well. Now you can use a piece of cardboard to put in between each to make sure you've got them spaced. I know it probably looks a little crooked from your direction as well. So what I want to do is give this a little trace, because that way I'm going to press this to one piece of cardboard at a time. And so I can lift these up, and then I'll take this to the iron. And what I'm going to do is lay a non-stick coating on my iron. And then I'm going to press just one cardboard at a time. So here's what that looks like. I have a Teflon sheet. I'm putting it down this way because I don't want, if this gets activated, I don't want it sticking to my ironing board. Now, what I want to show you too before I go too far is how to do the corners, because I am going to trim the corners off and then fold these back and iron them in place as well. I have this set of corners for your projects, and so basically they have measurements. It says 2 millimeter, and that's the thickness of my chipboard. So I can lay this up against there. It's easier with cardstock, I'm sure you would understand, and trim it like this, and that gets me the perfect corner for pulling this over and pressing it. Okay, and I will give you a link to all the supplies down below, just like that. Okay, so now, but the next step for me is I am going to take and do the next piece and iron that on. Okay, so what I was doing was I would lay a piece of cardboard down and clamp it to flip it over and then remove the clamps. That way I got it lined up. You can see how some of the corners are not perfectly tacked down. It's okay, because now I'm going to turn the whole thing over and press it again, making sure that I'm actually lifting these up so they don't stick to the non-stick surface. Now that non-stick surface can still take this sticky off of here, so you don't want that. So I'm lifting it up as I go around and press. Then I'm going to go around now, pull that over and press it. And I believe it's 8 seconds each area. And we'll do that for here and all the sides. And you can see how beautifully that miters those corners. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, so this is the way it folds. That's the way it's going to look. That's going to be beautiful. Now, you could put your magnets under the fabric here so they're not visible, but one of the issues with that is then it creates this lump that you've got to iron the fabric over. So I'm going to choose to put my magnets on the outside and just put something decorative over it. Now, clearly I could see I've got some gap in here that I need to fix. I'll press that again. But that's the way you check your ironing job, is by giving it a good fold. So I will do that. And then all we need to do is measure how big we want the big mat here. Now I'm using the same fabric. I know this is 10, so I'll probably go 9.5. Let's see. Yes, I'll probably go 9.5. And then I need to measure this, and I can just use my, from here, using my craft mat. So 22 totally, so 21.5 by 9.5 for the fabric. Or you can always use cardstock, but you'll have this lump where the fabric is. Your cardstock, you can use Fabri-Tac on it to get it down, or you can use the heat and bond on the cardstock as well. I have taken this fabric and done it like we said, 9.5 by 21.5. I'm not going to worry about the edges because when I iron this down, that will help it to really not unravel. And when I'm pressing, I'm going to press everything, and then I'm going to take the side of the iron and go into all of these little gullies that we have created here. And we want to make sure we've got all the fabric lined up vertically. And there you have it. I love it. I do notice that my part is a little stiff right here, so I think I did not put enough of a gap in between those two layers of cardboard to accommodate all of the fabric in there as well. So it does close, go at a 90 degree, and that's all we need. So there we go. It's perfect. And the magnets will help that to stay shut. Okay, so the next phase will be, what are we going to do with the inside? I do have an idea as far as what the purpose of this is going to be for me, and that is going to shape how I assemble this. Thank you for watching, and I hope this inspires you to reimagine your own version of a lap book.